Hey everyone, Flying Dutchie here. Welcome back to our tutorial for complete beginners. This is episode 6, and this episode we are going to at least use some diplomatic plays. So we will go to war, and I will show you what you can do as well. Also with these lances over here. But before we go, we have to take a look at our situation again. Maybe you remember that my private construction sector was building a furniture factory, and it's now active over here. We have a furniture factory in Svealand, and when you scroll down, you can see the owner is the financial district. So the financial district, which consists 400 capitalists, 800 shopkeepers, 800 clerks, did build this building, and the dividends go back to the financial district so that they can make more money into the investment pool and make more stuff. And as we can see here, we are now trying to hire people. You can also see where they are coming from. And yeah, they want to work here because furniture is very expensive at the moment in Svealand. Now, good news is we have laths unlocked. We are going to use some tools to make 65 furniture and not 45. And we also have a little bit less laborers and a bit more engineers and a bit more machinists. So better jobs. But we can also take a look at the second production method, and that is prioritize non-luxury furniture. So we just do this only. 5 tools, 10 cloth, 30 wood for 65 furniture. We can also say we want to make some luxury furniture. We are going to make a little bit less. Now these numbers are wrong. This is what will happen with the current employment. So only 148 of 5,000. So that is why these numbers are so low. So what you can do is just try to assume things. From, I have at the moment... When you hover over this luxury furniture, I have 17 sell orders and 21 buy orders. So it's a little bit expensive, but we don't really need it. We get it from our trade route with Prussia and the French. So we have Prussian and French luxury furniture at the moment. We can also say we make our own. Then we can stop those trade routes, but then we make 25 less normal furniture. And we're gonna use more hardwood and not softwood. But let's just go for this like now. Let's wait until this is filled up, and then we will take a look at the changes. So that's going to happen. Let's unpause on speed 3. We are building our ships. Slowly they will train. It takes a long time. And when this is a little bit better, we will do our first war. We have 2 things over here. We have expensive military goods. Our artillery is still very expensive. Our small arms is still very expensive. And the iron is still as expensive. Yeah, it is pretty expensive. We need it for all kinds of things. Even we are getting people trading it away from us. There's not a lot we can do about it. We can make it less attractive by encouraging people to not take it. And otherwise they have to pay a big tariff to me. You can't do that. And the same for the small arms. We have 30 from our arms industry, but we need 50. And also some people, for example Bolivia, is importing this from us, so that is hurting our coffers at the moment. And the same for artillery. We are only importing this. We don't have our own artillery factory yet. So we also have some expensive government goods. The fabric is still very expensive. We need this for our construction sectors most likely, I think. Yeah, 80. Oh, and we will pause here. And you can see where we need the fabric for. And it is very expensive. And iron as well, so we need to take a look at these things. But first, we have completed dedicated police force. That means that we now have a different law at level 3. We get less state penalties from terrorists and less radicals from standard of living decreases. As you can see, our radicals are increasing. And that is because mostly of decrease in standard of living, 29,000. And that is because I lowered the wages, I think, for my military and my government. They don't like it and they will become a radical. So we have changed our law over here. So we are going to change to a new law. We did this one. We had local police force, so we had 15% landowners' political strength and 45 state penalties, but now we have this. So we have less state penalties bonus. Here we have 45, here only 30. But we also have a radical bonus, and the landowners are not having this bonus anymore, so less people will go to the landowners, and we like that. So what is going to be our next law change? With the current 3 groups in the cabinet, which is having 95 government legitimacy, which is very helpful for loyalists and changing stuff. So I want to keep that for now. What can we do to help our country? When there is a 0, you cannot change it. Then none in the government want to change this. So we only can look at this one, for example. We can go from oligarchy to landed voting. But then we have to talk about how that works. Maybe not yet. We also have freedom of conscience and state religion. State religion makes the church very powerful. We now have freedom of conscience, which still makes the church very powerful. At some point we want to go to total separation. We don't care which religion people have. We have appointed bureaucrats, which gives us more taxation capacity. Maybe you remember from the beginning. You need government buildings to tax. We have absolutely no problems with taxation. But it also gives more political strength to bureaucrats, and the bureaucrats are... Oh, we cannot take a look where they are, but I think they are mostly intelligentsia, so that's good. But we can also go to the elected. Then we get minus bureaucracy institution cost modifier. We can also go back to hereditary bureaucrats, but then the aristocrats get more power, and they are mostly part of your landowners, so we don't want to go here. We do get a population cost modifier. So we get more, we keep more bureaucracy when our population grows, so that's nice. But I go most of the time or for this one or this one. This one is very good because you use 15% less bureaucracy per level of institution. And there were these things, so this number will go down. Now, at the moment we are very small, we have only 2.8 million people. So this cost is not very high at the moment. But you can change that with that one. We have a professional army, we want to keep that one, that's fine. We have no home affairs at the moment, we can go to a national guard. Which means we can get more battalions. As a conscript, I think. And we get a couple of bonuses. And we can go to secret police. Which helps against political movement radicalism, revolutions and secessions, etc. Okay, we can go there. We have interventionism at the moment, which is the normal economic system. 50% of our construction sectors go to the private construction allocation when they are going to build something. Traditionalism is of course not that great because we get less investment pool contribution, less taxation capacity. It's not good at all. I don't think there's anything better about this one. We could go to agrarianism, which will give the government dividends for us a little bit better. But it makes the aristocrats contribute more and the farmers and the clergy and not the capitalists, so we don't like that at all. You can also ban industry. That makes the rural folk very very profitable. And laissez-faire is the one that is pure market. You can see 75% of our construction sectors are available to our private construction sector, and the capitalists and shopkeepers get more investment pool contribution. So later on we want to go maybe to laissez-faire, but interventionism is a very good standard law over here. We have the latest taxation laws. We can go back, but you can see we lose 9,000 or 17,000. Also the proportional taxation, when we get rid of the land tax and the per capita tax, still not more profitable because we have too many peasants. So we have just changed this one. Are we going to the private schools? We only have 12% chance though. The church will not like this, but they will not radicalize. They are close to it. If I would have the intelligentsia and the industrialist in my government, we would have 20% plus 12. That is 32%, because this is from the movement that we have. So we have to wait a little bit longer with that one, I think. We have also no health system. We can go to charity hospitals, but that makes the church more powerful, so let's not do that right now. We have rights of assembly. We could censor it, but that is going to be backwards. Propertied women, legal guardianship. No, we are not going to do this. I think we are going to... Well, I don't think I want to get rid of my oligarchy. Because we get 10 legitimacies from including the head of the state in the government. Right? And here it will be 30%. We have an autocracy. So only the king and no one else is having any power. It does make the aristocrats and the capitalists more powerful, oligarchy, which we don't really like. If we go to landed voting, we are going to, what does it change? 50-25. Then the clergy and the officers are going to get a bit more powerful voting, so it can help, but we also lose. It's going to be more difficult to make a group with groups that are not close to each other. And there is a nice thing about the 10% legitimacy from including the head of the state. We are having, at the moment, a landowner. Our king. How old are you, actually? You are 75 years old, but my heir is part of the intelligentsia. So if I keep oligarchy, we get a 10% more legitimacy bonus just by having him as our ruler. So I don't want to get rid of that one right now, I think. But the only thing I see that is somewhat helpful is the National Guard. It's going to make the armed forces very happy, and it will help with the war we are going to do. So I think we're going to try to get National Guard. It's going to cost us some bureaucracy that we don't have at the moment, but we will deal with that later. Let's go to National Guard. And that gives us an additional, yeah, it gives the Home Affairs institution. So we get a third one over here. Let's do that one. Okay. There was something that I wanted to do. Yeah, the fabric is very expensive in our country. And when we go to our market and we click on the market price, we can see what is very expensive and why. We have only 4 orders for fruit, so we don't really care about it. And also the porcelain, we don't really care about it. The artillery is a bit expensive, but we only have a very small amount. The small arms is a bit of a problem, though. So we could maybe do something about that. We are making furniture at the moment with our own furniture factory. But that should get a little bit better. But then the cloth, we need 120. And we cannot really make this ourselves. We can only make livestock ranges. So when you right click on this and we click for an established import route. Since we have an interest with China, we can trade 220 with China. Let's go for it. And then over time, our fabric price will get better because of the trade route. And that makes things cheaper for us for constructing and other things as well. So let's get that trade route going for now. Let's unpause a bit here. And let the naval bases get people hired. That actually reminds me that we should go back to normal military wages, because right now we have minus 50% training rate. And we need the training rate to get people working on our boats. So we go back to normal funding here. And yes, then we are losing a lot of money. Now we'll go to speed 4. I don't think we have to do that much. Okay, we have a little bit of influence again. Let's right click on you. Oh yeah, we should do it over here. Go to the diplomacy outliner. And here we can see that we have 54 relations with Prussia. Because of our trade agreement we can go to 80. So we don't have to improve at all with that one. Russia doesn't like us. But I cannot improve because it's 300. And we only have 262. So we cannot really do this. Unless we change something. What I can do is stop improving with the Netherlands. Because Russia is more important. So let's improve with Russia instead. I think that's better for us. Let's get it to 0 at least. We don't want any enemies, if we don't have to. Okay, there comes all our naval bases. It's gonna take us some time before the people are getting trained in that one. And we are losing money like crazy. You can see that the fabric is now gone. So fabric is no longer expensive. And we have a new technology because we also get some spread. We have general staff unlocked. We can get the general training for our barracks and conscription centers. And we could go to skirmish infantry. But we need ammunition for it and we cannot make ammunition yet. So nice information. The only thing we can change is our barracks. So let's go to buildings development. And over here, we could change our 30 barracks from no organized training to general training. What is the difference? We only get a little bit more officers and a little bit less servicemen. Okay. And we get more training rate. How much manpower can be trained per week? That is going to help with our boats, I think. Oh no, it's only for the army. We need the power of the purse for that one, which we might get later. Okay. Did I have everything on the right things here? Just do a quick check here. Yes, I did. Okay, good. Looking good. So we have to wait for that to come online. I think I'm going to stop building for a bit, because my interest is getting towards 2.2 thousand. That is just way too much in my opinion. Let's click on our navy over here. Yeah, here we can see that we are waiting for some manpower to come in. We have 11 queued. And we have 10 built. And this one is slowly getting more people in. Hopefully. Yeah. It goes slowly, but it's getting there. And when they are at 1,000, we get a new frigate. It's gonna take some time before everyone is in the boat and works there. What is this? We have a debate for our National Guard. Let's take a look. We can get less time to get to the next tick, which is fine. But we piss off the intelligentsia. Now, how is the intelligentsia? They are only +3. We can also do this and we get a little bit more enactment time. I'm fine with that. I'm not going to piss off my intelligentsia right now. It's fine. And what we see now is that our bureaucracy is slowly going down, and when we go negative, we get a bit of tax waste. And government dividends waste. We don't like that. Now it's most likely because of our timed modifier over here. And we have 7 nationally owned buildings. So what we are going to do here is build one more government building, so then we get a little bit more taxation. We go to, I think, the diplomatic lands. No. The political lands. Yeah, I don't know why they call it that way, because it's so frustrating and I'm still not used to these buttons. But there's the government building. And right now we get 50 bureaucracy and 10 taxation capacity. We will have to pay for 1,000 bureaucrats and 5,000 clerks, but we have to do this. We have no taxation problem, so let's build it in our capital so we get a throughput bonus. The more buildings you stack, level buildings, the better throughput bonus you get. Now, we don't have enough job seekers right now, but that will get better over time, I think. So let's queue that one in. And yeah, let's just talk about the war that we are going to do. We are going to try to attack Zulu. Now, before we can do this, and let's take a look. Let's click again on it. No, it's not working. There we go. They still have 18 troops that are very bad, so we could take them down. But I cannot do anything here. Why? Because we need to be neighbors, or we need to have an interest in the same region, or we need to have our own interest over there. So let's go to our diplomatic lands. Click on declare interests. We have 1 left. And we're going to click on South Africa, so that we can interact with the countries over here. That is going to take some time, so we will unpause the game. We will get a pop-up over here when the time is there. We have more messages. A donation of knowledge from Lars, who is the leader of the industrialist, I think. They want to build a university. Absolutely. Then we get a little bit more innovation. We go to 59. And we have lectures. We can get more legitimacy and we can make the landowners less popular. I like that. Yeah, we're gonna do that one. They went from 27 to 25 because of that timed modifier. So we will wait for the thing here. We have a new technology unlocked, egalitarianism. It unlocks different laws we can do. It unlocks a party, but we have no parties because we have no elections yet. But this one is not that great. +1 minimum expected standard of living from literacy. If people are getting literate, they want more. Not always nice to have that one. But what is nice is that we have a lot of loyalists. People really like our government. And most of the people have a very good standard of living. So, radicals are getting better and our loyalists are going up. We get nice approval bonuses to all our groups. So we are not in a situation for a civil war or a revolution. Police brutality. We can change our investment law enforcement by -1 and we make some groups a little bit happy, or the lowest strata pops in Zweeland, that can be a lot actually, will become radical, but it makes the armed forces and the petite bourgeoisie happy. Who do we want to make happy? Well, the petite bourgeoisie and the armed forces are over 20 already, so we get both bonuses. Less loan interest, no, that is very helpful for us. So we want to keep that, but they only need to be at least 8 and they have 20, so we can piss them off, these two groups, and then we can actually better click this one. Then we get +2 to the rural folk and 2 to the intelligentsia. That should activate the next bonus, the 10% infrastructure from farmers markets. And there we go. But yeah, some of these events can change something. Let's see, improvements. Don't think we can do anything yet. Okay, we have our interest. It's active, so we can now do something with Zulu. Now, all the things you can do with a country, you can right-click on. You can open diplomacy. You can just see if they are at war, if they have anything going. Now, there's absolutely nothing over here. We can improve relations. We can expel diplomats to quickly decrease the relations, but you get infamy from it. And a little bit of infamy is not a bad thing. You only lose some relations with other people. That can be very bad if the great powers don't like you, because then they will maybe go against you. We can guarantee their independence. Alliances. We can declare rivalry, but we cannot, because we have a different rank. This country is very backwards. We can invest into the country, so that is the diplomatic actions. We also have diplomatic demands. We can ban slavery in the country. We can make them a protectorate, giving tree infamy. We can force them so that we can invest in their country. There's also a diplomatic demand on the Zulu state. Conquer the state. And we are going to do this one. We are going to conquer the state for 7.7 infamy. Now you can also do it over here in the political lands, I think. No, in the diplomatic lands. When you go to diplomatic demands, you can see all the things you can do. You can annex a subject, but you can only do this when you have a subject. We have no subject, 0 targets. We can ban slavery in these 4 countries, because we have an interest over there, and there is slavery in these countries. We can conquer states. We can conquer everywhere where we have an interest. We can conquer these states, but then we have to fight Russia. You can see it all over here. We can humiliate a country. We can humiliate Denmark. We can get investment right. We can liberate countries. We can liberate countries in Russia, France, the US, Belgium, and Qing. Now, and so on and so on. We are going to start a play to conquer Zulu. Why do I like Zulu? Because it is bordering Oranje and Transvaal. I can pronounce this because these are Dutch farmers that were still there. The Cape Colony was also a Dutch colony, but this was taken over by Great Britain. And these stayed a little bit more on their own, some Dutch farmers. This is also called Bloemfontein and Pretoria and Pietermaritzburg. So this is a bit of a Dutch minority over here. You can see that at the population, they are Boers, 3%. Part of the Low Countries. Dutch, Flemish, Wallonian and Boer. And they are a bit over here. Also a little bit over here. Most of them are all, of course, locals. Like 90-95%. But I want this because when we go to Oranje, we have gold fields. And gold is a flat income. And Transvaal is going to get gold. I know that. So I want those states so I can get my own gold. Therefore we need to conquer Zulu first. We cannot conquer Transvaal if we have no access. I think. I don't think you can get access to other countries in this game like this. I had that question before. Well, I'm not sure anymore. But we're going to start a play. We're going to conquer the state of Zulu. The country of Zulu is one state, so that's very helpful. We're going to click Demand Conquer State from Zulu. It's giving us 7.7 infamy, and we reduce our relations with 7 countries. These countries are having an interest or are neighbors. Zulu, Great Britain, Portugal, Oranje, Cape Colony, Transvaal and Gaza. Or Gaza. Conquer the states. Sweden conquers the state of Zululand. This gives 7.7 infamy. On our side we will have Sweden with 30 battalions and 20 flotillas right now, and Norway with 13 for conscripts and 3 flotillas. On the enemy side we have 18 battalions, but they are very bad. And then there are 5 people that are going to make their decision very soon. Great Britain is the only one that I care about. Well, maybe Portugal a little bit. Great Britain is having 122 battalions and 177 flotillas, so they could just easily kill us if they go against us. But who are they going to support? You can see that over here. Great Britain's preference for Sweden. We have a little bit good of relations. Yeah, we are working on it, 32. They are genial towards us. And they have a bit of sympathy towards us. They don't really like Zulu, and they have a domineering attitude, so they also want to attack Zulu at some point, apparently. And then this number is based on their neutrality stance. Sometimes a country has their own strategies, and if they have turmoil or whatever, they don't want to be intervened. If a country is having a civil war, they will have a very high neutrality, because they don't want to help anyone, because they have their own struggles. So most likely Great Britain is not going to help us, but it's even less likely that they are going to help Zulu, because it's minus 82. Now the same counts for Portugal. You can see all their bonuses towards me. They don't like to help both. Transvaal doesn't like to help both. Oranje is a bit more towards Zulu, but it's still minus 36. And Gaza is absolutely not interested, because there is a very weak Gazan army. Plus 49 to neutrality, and they have defend the border strategy, so I think we can do this without any intervention of any other country. But just to be sure, I will save the game. Because I don't want to do this again. We go to the tutorial. There we go. So let's go again. Conquer the state. And let's do this. Do you have a forced diplomatic play? Sometimes a country is so weak that there is a chance they will just accept your offer, and then you leave this off. If you click Force Diplomatic Play, then the diplomatic play will start, and then you can also add more states. So if you are not happy with taking one state out of a play, you need to click this button. If you are fine by one state and there is a small chance that they will accept, then you need to not click this. But it doesn't matter because they will not accept, so we will have a diplomatic play no matter what. So let's click this. We go and pause. You get these nice symbols, and now we have a diplomatic play going, and it is over here. Zulu refuses the demand, and that is why the war has started, and we already knew this. And let's take a look at the diplomatic play thing. So we are now at the opening moves, which is the escalation, phase 1. In the opening moves, we can add war goals. We cannot add anything else, because Zulu is one state. I don't know what their war goal is going to be, but we will see soon. Here you can see your maneuvers. If a country is bigger, you can use these maneuvers to add more war goals. At the moment, we cannot do this. There is only one state. There will be nothing left of Zulu, so we cannot do anything else. That is the overview. You can see how much maneuvers we have, how much is mobilized from both sides, and the war goals. You can see who are just leaning towards us and leaning towards Zulu, and who is still on defense. Now you can also say that over here at sway countries. Norway is our puppet. They are of course going to help me. And sometimes you can sway other countries to join your side. We cannot do this right now, because it's not possible to take sides during the opening moves unless a country is a subject. So that is why Norway is already on our side. Subjects can move in this phase. Then we have this phase, and in the second phase we can maybe sway countries. So we will let the game go. What you can do at this point, and I actually will because we are losing a lot of money at the moment, also because our investment pool is not giving us anything, I'm going to pause construction for now. That will make the people that work in the construction sector unhappy, because they have no more work. But we at least don't get more deficit. We go to the next phase. You're now at the diplomatic maneuvers. Zulu has a demand to Swedish war reparations. They need to take my capital for this. That's not going to happen to them. Okay, we cannot take any war goals, but let's go to the sway country stuff. Is there any way we can sway Great Britain to our side? Can we sway with an obligation? No. Transfer states? No. Diplomatic pacts? No. We cannot sway any country. We have a thumbs down. So there is nothing we can do. This will be the whole play at the moment, unless a country changes its mind. It's still possible. And we have a debate for the National Guard. We can get 15% enactment success chance. We make the armed forces a bit angry, but they are so happy that we can do this. So, yes, 28%, and the armed forces are still at 20. So we have all the bonuses. We had a 10% offense and defense. Now, since this play is going, what we can do is mobilize our army so that it can prepare itself for the war. As you can see, the organization is now up, and we have 26.9 offense and 26.6 defense, which is pretty good. And we will tell the commander to advance the front. We can plan an invasion, but you can only plan a naval invasion when the war has started. And since I cannot send this army anywhere, except for on a naval invasion, we will have to wait. When I do a war with Denmark later in this run, which we will, because I want to form Scandinavia, we can do other things, so. But we will go over that when the time is there. I would recommend mobilizing your army not too early, because we have to pay a lot of money for it. You can see it's not mobilized by the grey numbers, it's not lighted up. You have to click this button. Are you telling me that mobilizing is only costing me grey? There's no way. Then I actually told that completely wrong. No, I think when I mobilize I have to pay this. The extra. But let's see if that is the case when I mobilize the army. So we're almost halfway. It looks like no one is going to intervene. Some people are leaving. You can say, no, we don't want to join. We will be neutral in this play. And some people are clicking that button already. So we are now halfway. Let's mobilize the army. And let's see if we are going to pay more. There's a formation setting, let's not talk about that. It is going up, right? I think it went up. Yes. So let's take a look if it is actually 25%. 25 small arms. That should be the case. Let's just check this out. As you can see in the screen, by the way, we can now upgrade all infantry to skirmish infantry because we have the technology, but we don't have the ammunition. So it almost looks like you have no more army in this, no more infantry in this army. But we do. We have 20, but they are line infantry and not skirmish infantry. So I'm going to click this back to the line infantry. There are 20 again. Because I don't want to upgrade yet to this. Because we have no ammunition. That can be a bit confusing. But yeah, once again, I knew that we needed 50 small arms. How much do we need now? $75. But the answer is absolutely. And we are having a shortage, so maybe we can import some small arms. Let's take some from Prussia, that helps a little bit. And also we need a little bit more artillery. Oh. Well, let's get some French. There we go, you can see that it is mobilizing. We are losing a lot of money, as you can see, we are losing 5,000. The play is going, it's now in the last phase, it's just a countdown to war. We cannot change anything anymore, we can only click the back down button in this phase. When we back down, we will let Zulu win. And they take our war operations, so no one is gonna help them. We have Norway and us. That's going to be the war, so... Oh, and there we go, guys. Our ruler has died. Karl Johan Bernadotte has died. And that means that we have a new king. And that is changing a lot of things. Because our king is part of the intelligentsia. You can see that their government is now only at 66. And we could reform to a 64 with the intelligentsia also in the cabinet. So why would I not do that one? Because that is the highest legitimacy we can take. We can do this now because our king has a 10% more legitimacy rate. Because we are an oligarchy. Because we are a monarchy with an oligarchy voting system. Or not voting system, really. So what we can do is change it. We are gonna get a little bit less loyalists. We're gonna get a little bit more radicals. Well, should we wait for the National Guard to be completed? Let's wait for this one to be completed. And then we're gonna change our government. Because we can now make use of the intelligentsia that our king is having and supporting. Okay, the war is almost starting. We have 30 and 13 from Norway against their 19 battalions right now. Boom. The war has broken out. Now we can go to war. And we're gonna do this with a naval invasion. You can click on the army. You can click plan a naval invasion of an enemy state. Well, there's only one state we can do a naval invasion now, because we are only at war with Zulu. So we click this. And we have to select an army and a fleet. And now we get a message. Because we are using 20 boats. Well, we are having a 30 army. The boats are not recruited yet. We have built them. Well, most of them. But they are not getting the people working there yet. So we can wait or we just go now. We will have a 66.6 naval invasion efficiency. Takes 10 weeks. I still think with a 33 penalty we can still win. Because we have more troops. And with the 33 penalty, they are still stronger enough. Unfortunately, we are going to lose more armies. And maybe more people getting killed. They are just getting flat killed. They are removed from the game. Or people can become dependent. So they cannot work anymore because they have a broken leg or something. Let's take the risk anyway. And then in the next episode, we're going to invade Zulu. And see how that goes. Hopefully you're still enjoying this tutorial. You will see that my navy and my army are going to move to the spot. You can quickly unpause, you can see both lines. And when they are both over here in this node, they will start the invasion. It's going to happen in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give your thumbs up, subscribe and react. Tell me what you think about the tutorial so far. If you have any questions, please ask them. I read everything. And then I see you guys in the next episode. Bye bye.